Hey everybody, it's CC Chapman from Passion Hit TV. I don't know about you, but it's summertime, and lately I've been really wanting to go on a road trip, and Amtrak is the official sponsor of Passion Hit TV, so I'm thinking I might have to jump on a train really soon and go cross country or something. I know I just saw some friends of mine do that, and it's got me filled with desire to do it, but we'll see if I can hook that up in my busy schedule or not. Today I'm really excited because we've got Jody. He's a buddy of mine from the Netherlands. He had me over there in December for an evening with CC Chapman. He runs a really cool PR agency called Coopr. I'll link to it, of course, in the show notes and everything, but his story is an interesting one, and I love to finally have some international flavor here on Passion Hit TV. So kick back, enjoy, and I'll talk to you real soon.
My name is Jody Koehler. I'm the founder of a PR agency called Coopr in the Netherlands, and we're a PR agency. We only started like 2.5 years ago, and from there on we rocketed. It was such an happening, such an inspiration to work at a PR agency, founding a PR agency, and try to share, because that's what we are really passionate about, a story about PR. Because PR, the world of PR, public relations, is changing, and when we first started, we also said to each other, because I co-founded the agency, we said to each other, wow, PR in this age, PR needs to reinvent itself. Let's see where we can go from here. Work with PR, content marketing, social media. So that's what we are passionate for, and that's my personal passion as well. And it's such a pleasure to translate that into a business. So, yeah. An Evening With is an annual event. We have it every year. We started in 2009 with Deirdre Breckenridge, and we had our guest last year was Brian Solis in 2010, and now it's An Evening with CC Chapman. And what we actually did was we said there aren't that many events in the Netherlands for the Dutch PR community, and we wanted to change that. And that was actually the reason why we said, well, we want to do something of an event, but not really like every event, not in a hotel room, big crowd, 300 people, a full day program. More intimate, more small, and we got inspired a bit like MTV Unplugged, There's one theme, one speaker, a couple of people, not too much, under 100, let's say 80 or 90 people, and they can have their presentation, their story told, so you would tell about content rules, about content marketing, but followed up with a Q&A session, and that's what makes it interesting. That's what makes it an event where people can engage with the speaker, and that's what makes it almost like a room in the house. We can chat with each other and have a relaxed time, and that's why we started An Evening With, and well, for a third time it's fun to do, and people love visiting it, and well, that's the story of An Evening With. Honestly, I wanted to be a professional soccer player. Yeah, but I wasn't that good, but the kids have dreams, and I have dreams too, and my parents actually started their own business, I think 10 or maybe 15 years ago, not that long ago, and that inspired me. I worked in PR, started as a PR agency, worked there for about, 6 or 7 years, then went to eBay, became a PR manager for one of the biggest websites here in the Netherlands. And from there on we got to notice how PR changed, and from that point of view we said, well, let's do something in PR, let's start our own agency. And that's exciting. That's always exciting to do something totally different and where you're very passionate about, especially in this age. So I don't know if that's a combination from my parents starting their own business. I don't know if being an entrepreneur, business owner, I hate the word entrepreneur, but is that something from genetical point of view, or is that some stage in your life when you just grab the opportunity to start something for yourself? And I think for me it's the last thing. I think we saw an opportunity, and then we said, let's go for it and start our own agency. So that's how we started Coopr, and that's where I think from a business agency owner, when we found our inspiration. I think it started, if you work in PR, I think now 10 years, going on for 11 years, you meet people. And that's where I find inspiration. I'm not really an outdoors guy, who don't walk in the nature or see things. I want to meet people, and people inspire me. And if you meet the right people in your life, that's what changes everything for you. So we met, I think 2.5 years ago, we got in contact with Deirdre Breckenridge, and she was a very important person for us, because then we actually didn't start Coopr yet. She inspired us. And Coopr was, when we first started, part of another PR agency. We were like the digital wing, specialized in social media and online. But she convinced us this, just follow your heart, PR is changing, just go for it. And we learned from her, and she educated us, inspired us, and we moved on from there. And we started 2.5 years ago, Coopr. We now, Jos Govert and I, we own the agency since March of this year, 2011. And it has been an adventure, we're still a small agency with the 5 of us, and last week we got nominated for a best new agency in Europe from the European Excellence Awards. That's just a big thing, for a small agency, you hold on to those things, and it has been fun, and if I drive to work, I have a small kid at home, 7 months, a son named Sam, and you have to find balance between life and work, and this is what I wanted to do. But I don't think you always know what you want to do when you grow up or later on, and this is something I stumbled into, and I thought, yeah, this is being an agency owner, inspiring people about PR, setting up an agency, advising clients. So yeah, I don't know if that's a purpose, but yeah, that's what we do now, and it has been fun. Picking moments, I would say. If I enter the home environment, I'm at home. I'm a dad, and of course I have my own home office, and when the door is closed, people know I'm working in the house, but the kid is still very small. But it's tough. It's a challenge, and every young father needs to grab that challenge and figure it out for him or herself, because women have the same thing. And I have what I explained to you today. You have but it's in Holland it's popular, a Daddy Day. So that's my quality time with my son. I have one day in a week, and it's a Tuesday or maybe a Wednesday next year. So from 9 till 6 I have time with him. He's 7 months old. He sleeps, of course, during the day, so I can do some homework and do some stuff, check email, check DMs and everything out there. But it's picking the right moments, If I'm home, spending time with my son, try to disconnect everything else, I hate fathers who look at their iPhones and iPads with their kids, and it's sometimes you see those tweets pass by, having a great time with my kids and I'm experiencing this and this and that. And why would you share that, Have that moment for yourself, because in this age you share so many things. Why not have this for your family and your family time? I'm pretty sure your spouse, your wife thinks about this the same way. But everybody needs to decide for themselves. But it's hard, Running an own agency takes time, more hours than you would sometimes wish to, and you have the advantage that you do what you love. But when you're home, pick the moments and disconnect from everything else. Actually, and that's a funny thing, because I don't really have one mentor. It's like snippets from several people. Because when I worked at the PR agency in the Netherlands here, called Bell PR, I had one senior advisor, and he was, I think, one of the best in the Netherlands. And he's not really onto Twitter and sharing that much, so he's still a bit of invisible for most of the PR posts here in the Netherlands and in Europe. But he was a very smart guy, and it's for me, it was learning on the job. I'm not a big student, I'm not big grades, and I'm from the practice, and I was, when I started as a young consultant, I was together with him working on clients, and I saw his passion and how he consulted and how he advised clients and how he tried to move the needle. And that was interesting for me, and that gave me so much inspiration. But that was certain, because that was in a certain period when you work at an agency. My first agency actually was a very small agency specialized in tourism, but the agency owner, Gerdy ten Dolle, was such an amazing woman, just how she balanced work and life and how she won an agency. That's what inspired me as well. And I told you before, I'm a big fan of podcasts, and nowadays you can pick brains, from people all over the world. So of course I listen to Managing the Grey, I listen to Media Hacks, and that's the fun thing. And I want to mention Media Hacks especially because that works for me. A couple of guys, smart guys, fun guys, come together, chat about media, marketing, and things like that, and they share knowledge. And that's where I find inspiration as well. So it's several different people, and if you have one person in your life that inspires you, awesome. If you don't, go online and see how you can connect with other people, because I know from Australia to Asia to South America, they're out there, so you can pick their brains and try to be inspired by them. And I hope to inspire younger professionals as well, and that would be, because that because our PR agency, Coopr, we say we don't want to be just a PR agency. Of course, we need to advise and consult clients, but we also need to advise young professionals, students. So we do so many things. We started our first PR school called Coopr College, and it runs on Facebook, especially for students. We have free student nights for students. We have Twitter chats called PR Student Chat. Data Breckenridge does the same thing in the States, PR Stud Chat, I think it's called. And we copy it and done it here. So we share our knowledge on PR, share our information. So that's the funny thing, because I'm 34 right now, and you know, sometimes you don't realize it, but of course you have people who inspire you and motivate you. But slowly you're becoming that person for other people as well. And that's the funny thing. I think I'm now at this stage sharing that, hopefully people recognize it, sharing my passion for PR to other people. And yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Just go for it. Basically, of course, and that, I think a lot of people say that, but just listen to your heart, you know. You've got a heart, you've got a mind, and just find a right balance in that. But what I said, I'm not an A-straight student, and I'm at a certain point in my life right now because of hard work, because of searching, you know. I was searching, I think about in my late 20s. I moved from another agency, worked for eBay, moved back to an agency, actually the same agency. I left a couple of years ago, so I was in the stage of finding out my own personal direction. So always go for that, you know. Go for your own personal direction. Follow on. Don't give up too soon, because nowadays young people, there are so many opportunities now for young people, especially in Western Europe and maybe in the States as well. You can do a lot of things. Hold on for a certain period, you know. Try to really experience a certain professional, a certain company, or a certain, I don't know, whatever, you know, a certain, maybe someone who inspires you. Hold on for a couple of, if you want to say, I'm going for a month, double it. Go for 2 months. Really learn, really be experienced, because that will reward you in the end. So you have to put in more effort than maybe you want to, but it's hard work, and well, keep on and follow your own direction. That's it, yeah. I think my dad, you know, I would want to change with my dad, because, you know, of course, who doesn't want to be a president of a big country or a very influential person or experience the life of Steve Jobs? I would love to have it more personal, more close, you know, because I find it difficult to remember how I was as a kid, you know, when you're aging, you're growing up, you're in your 30s and 40s, you forget those years. So I would like to know, how was it for my dad, you know? I'm Jody, I'm just a young kid and wanted to be that soccer player, you know, big in football and experience the world, and he's not a big A student, and their grades aren't really that good, and he's a bit of ADHD, you know, it's bouncing all over the place. How was it for my dad? So I think it would be interesting. I don't know from a sociological point of view, but being my dad, yeah, just yeah, how was it to? Because I'm a dad now, I think I would probably give you another answer like 2 or 3 years ago, most definitely. But now, yeah, if I look at my little son, I'm his dad now, so that would be interesting. Yeah. That's a good question. You know, it's parenting is a very difficult subject, you know, and I'm new to it, and there are so many books, but there isn't the book of parenting, and I feel it's not it's about guidance. You know, I think guidance is very important. My parents didn't tell me what not to do or what to do, because it works both ways. But it's about inspiring a positive approach. And about guidance, you know. Kids have to make mistakes, and sometimes in a certain stage of your life, as a parent, you think, well, my kid is now 15, 16, 18 years old, I don't want them to do that, I want to do something totally different. And the fun thing is, actually, I wrote down in a book, because people ask me, you know, if Sam is 18 or 19, what will he become? What's his profession? And I would, well, if I'm in PR, he will be definitely on the other side, so he will be a journalist, you know. That could be it, I don't know. That's if they're passionate, you know, and if you can stimulate their passion and provide guidance to that passion, then they'll be fine, you know. Don't worry. And if it's deep sea diving, or it's becoming a pilot or a sporter or whatever, provide that guidance, but stimulate the passion, because you know that's especially when you're a young kid, you have to cherish that, because that's important. I tapped into so many things about passion and follow your heart and the balance with, listen to your brain and listen to your heart as well. One of my first, because I'm a big fan of podcasting, a big fan of audiobooks, and I listened to Gary Vaynerchuk, Crush It. I mentioned it before when we talked over lunch, and that was really it for me. Crush it, go for it. Just do it. It's a big Nike thing, but it's so true. Don't see boundaries for yourself. Don't say, well, I can't do it. Try to approach it from a positive point of view, and crush it. And Gary V with his own vibe, and he does it in his own words, but I think the message, if you wrap it up, I think it's a very good message. Crush it, go for it, try to make a difference, and be a good person.